Hello, y'all. Welcome to Real Life Experience. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the age of 16 once again. I want to tell you a story how during that time I wanted to give my heart to Christ. I used to go to Twin Avenue in Spring Valley. A friend of mine used to have parties all the time. I was always going over there. We was always having a party. But then things changed. One night, I remembered I wanted to change my life. I wanted to do something different. And guess what? I did. I gave my heart to God. Yup, at the age of 16. Then what took place was when I repented everything, here I am going to the friend's house that I party with. Okay? Came there as a Christian. And when I got there, I was so happy to tell her, look, I'm saved. I gave my heart to God. And she looked at me. Did she say, well, I have an aunt that said, you can't do it on your own. You got to let God do it. So, being young and naive during the time of giving my heart to God, I'm listening to her. And she said, my aunt said, you can't do it on your own. You got to let God do it. So she said to me, she said, hey, you want to drink a champagne? I said, no, I'm saved. I can't do that. So she said, didn't I just tell you you got to let God do it? You can't do it. Girl, you better take this. You think? You think you better than God? I was like, well, no. So she was like, okay, here, take this then. So me not knowing any better, thinking I'm listening to her because she's older, I took that champagne. Actually, it was a cooler, wine cooler. That's what it. She said, girl, you better drink that cooler. I said, oh, okay. Cracked the bottle, begin to drink it. Was drinking it. I felt a little funny doing it, but because I was young and Christ really didn't know, everything like I thought I should know. But anyway, I was drinking that. Then all of a sudden, this music came on. And she said, Summer, what's that dance we used to do? So I said, I can't do that. I'm saved now. I don't dance no more. She said, girl, didn't I tell you better let God do it? I was like, yeah, you did say that. She goes, well, do you think you better than God? I was like, no. So she said, how we do that move? Next thing I know, I started, doing one of these numbers, started dancing. And then, next thing I know, here come bag of weed. Now, I used to smoke weed. She pulling out the weed. Y'all, I was naive. I did give my heart to God. But I feel like the enemy came through her at that time, and was trying actually to get me to sin like I used to. So she said, girl, we're going to smoke this weed and don't tell me you're going to let God, wait a minute, how was it again? Don't tell me you saved and all that because you got to let God do it. So I was like, oh, okay. But anyway, it got to the point I really didn't take the weed. But the strangest thing did happen. I was getting up and she was talking to me, and when I looked her in her face, I saw something that scared the daylights out of me. It's as if God opened up my spiritual eye, and when I looked in her eyes, it was not her. So my thing was, because my uncle lived upstairs, my thing was like, look, I ain't saying no name who it was or anything, but my uncle lived upstairs, and I was like, well, to this person, I'll be right back, knowing I was lying through my teeth because I was scared of what I saw, But God opened up my spiritual eyes, and it was something in her, the enemy, that I was able literally to see him. And when I saw him, it scared me so bad that I said, I'll be back, knowing I was lying through my teeth because I wasn't going back there. And I didn't go back either. I went to my uncle, got a ride home, and that was all she wrote for that night. But when I got home, I had this experience. And it was to the point where, I started having like mind battles. The enemy came at me all kinds of ways. Made me feel like I didn't want to be saved no more. It was just attacking me. Made me wonder why I left her house and stuff like that. But it was actually crazy the way I was feeling. But I remember as I laid down with all these feelings on me and everything like that, I'll never forget what took place. It was as if when I laid down, as if I died. Okay? And I came to realization that I was dead. I had I'm just going to be real with y'all. This was so serious. What happened was, it was like I saw myself walking at this familiar place around my neighborhood. And yes, I was out of my body. It was so real to me. It was like I'm looking, like I'm sitting here now. It was that real. It was no dream. This was real. And I was walking on, I think it was the street called, was it Ohio? 2nd Avenue or Ohio? No, I'm wrong. It was Ohio Street. I was walking on that street. And I'm like, wow, what am I doing here? And before I knew it, there was something walking next to me. And I came to realization that I wasn't alone. So as I kept walking, I realized when I took a step, it took a step. But then when that happened, I'm realizing I'm out of my body. I'm touching myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm dead. But I heard God said to me, you are not alone. And when he said that, he said the Grim Reaper is right beside you. I didn't know what a Grim Reaper was. But I realized something was there, because every time I took a step, it took a step. But I noticed that we came face to face towards each other. God told me during this time, he said, this Christian life, you can't live it by yourself. You need me. This is what God is telling me, And then, but when I came face to face with this thing, it had on all black. It had a black hoodie. You ever seen the Ku Klux Klan with the white? It looked just like that, except that it was all black, and it had a skeleton face. When I saw this thing, right away, honestly, it may sound funny to y'all, but here I am ready to fight. Now, I was no longer scared because I heard the voice of God. But when I saw it, I went to throw a punch at it. And me and this thing, we were scrapping, but you know what? I felt every punch, every pain. This thing was literally beating me up. But I heard God tell me when I went to fight this thing, that is not my way. But it's like I didn't care. God was there, so I know he had my back. But honestly, this thing was tearing me up. It was beating me up. It was knocking me all down all over the place. But then I yelled out, God, help me, like that. When I did that, strength came from nowhere. When I say strength came, it was like I stood up and I was able to grab this thing. This time when I grabbed it, it was just the clothes in my hands. The skeleton face, whatever that thing was, the Grim Reaper that God told me it was going to just have the rags. So I said to God, God, I know what you're trying to say. Please put me back in my body. And then with that being said, I came back in my body. And when I came back in my body, I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, my eyes was awake. I'm sat up in the chair. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, wow. I can't believe it just happened. And I was sitting there thinking, I said, I got to tell this person. I got to tell that person. Hey, I got to tell the church. But then I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to tell nobody. I'm going to keep it to myself. I ain't telling nobody. But then deep sleep came on me. And when deep sleep came on me, God told me, he said, you go and you let my people know what happened to you. You tell them about how real it is. You tell them. And what I really felt, honestly, that I didn't share with you guys was that when I looked at this Grim Reaper thing that was before me, it was such a feeling that you would rather, when you meet up with this thing and you're not with God and, you live in a sinner life and you are a sinner, when you come face to face with this thing, you would rather be hit in the head with a bat over and over and over and over again to feel that feeling that I felt. It seemed like being hit in the head with a bat was more safer over and over again, getting your head smushed in over and over again, than to meet up with that grim reaper called the devil. That's what it was like, y'all. But because God was with me, I got courage from somewhere. But trust me, when it comes to something like that, you don't want to meet it. Especially if your heart not right, if you're not saved. You know, if you don't surrender all to God. People tell you about God, you hear the word, and you know, and you don't listen. I'm telling you, it's not a good feeling. Just why I like Psalms, the 23rd Psalms. It talks about, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And I understand why. Because when you're walking through the valley of the shadow of death, God is with you. And nothing evil can come near your dwelling because you belong to Christ. He's there to protect. I understand that scripture in Psalms 23. I believe it was verse 4, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, y'all, it was serious to me. It was the first time that I, came across something like that God showed me and opened up my eyes to. I remember telling it in the church, and I told it in the church. And it was even hard for me to tell it. But I thank God, I just want to say my mom was there. She was holding my hand through it. She helped me tell this story by holding my hand. I was crying because it's so real, And I want to encourage y'all, if you hear this message that I'm telling you, it's coming from my heart. It is my experience. I know God is real. I know Satan is real. Okay? But at this point, it's God that I choose to serve. Because I thank him for allowing me to see what I saw, even though it was scary. If it had not been for God on my side, if he had not had the mercy on my life, I probably would have woke up in hell going with the Grim Reaper. But thank God for his mercy. With that being said, I love you guys. I take this opportunity to take out time to sacrifice and tell those about Christ in my experience, hoping that it would touch your hearts. Baby, what are you doing? Hoping that it would touch your hearts, and it'll plant a seed that you would choose Christ. And choose him today. Don't wait before it's too late. Harden not your heart, the word of God tells us. You hear his voice, harden not your heart. He wants to save many souls. He died for this world, And he loved us so much that God gave his only begotten son. Y'all know that. But I wanted to share my story, hoping I could reach 1, 2, 3, or even many more people behind this. I'm out to do what the Lord called me to do. I don't know what people are saying at this point, but one thing I do know, God told me to do it. It don't matter what man say. They can call me crazy. They may not even like what I'm saying, but I'm going to tell you one person that liked it, that I know for sure. God like it, and for two, I like it. I'm being obedient. Love you guys. Thanks for taking out the time to spend with me to hear my story. Want you to know that I love you guys. I'm going to pray for all of you. And before I end this, I want y'all to check out God Good Grace.